White House says, no one should be surprised if Prigozhin actually died in a plane crash in Russia.
Here's a summary of the article.
U.S. officials say, no one should be surprised if Wagner Group leader Yevgeny Prigozhin actually died in a plane crash on Wednesday. The plane crash happened exactly 2 months after Prigozhin incited a short-lived mutiny against Russia's military leadership, setting off a series of high-level purges and internal power shifts. In my experience, Putin is the ultimate apostle of payback, so I would be surprised if Prigozhin escapes further retribution for this. Belarus brokered negotiations between Russia and Wagner to end the chaos, and the resulting agreement saw Prigozhin cast into exile in the neighboring country, with his mercenaries given a chance to join him. Wagner Group fighters eventually began training Belarus soldiers at a military camp where Prigozhin was spotted in July. Prigozhin recently appeared in a video that surfaced earlier this week and was purportedly filmed from an undisclosed location in Africa, although insider could not confirm his presence there. It's not immediately clear if Prigozhin then traveled to Russia and was aboard the doomed flight.
This post received a score of 16,000, with an upvote ratio of 96%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Only surprised that he has survived this long.
Putin had to wait until Wagner was far enough away from Moscow. The reports say there are major communications disruptions hitting the Wagner bases in Belarus right now.
Not just that, but the number 2 in command for Wagner was also on the plane. This looks like a classic decapitation strike on Wagner that Prigozhin served to them on a silver platter.
Seems mad they did this. I've worked at firms that wouldn't put 2 people in these roles on the same plane, and that was the corporate world. You'd think security guys would know better.
Yeah, well, you would have thought he was smart enough to finish the job when he led an armed rebellion against Putin, and yet here we are. Dude was a caterer. I doubt reading Sun Tzu was part of his culinary training.
The dude was a caterer like Henry Hill in Goodfellas. Ray Liotta was a union rep.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a caterer.
What are you wearing? You look like a sous chef.
Hey, Prigozhin, if I was gonna break your balls, I'd tell you to go home and get your cookbook.
Yo motherfuck.
Things that wouldn't surprise me. This was Putin finally getting to him. This was Putin attempting to get to him. But he wasn't really on the plane. This is him faking his death. What would surprise me? Just a genuine accident.
Even if it were an accident, nobody would believe it.
The difference between truth and fiction is that fiction has to at least be plausible.
Mysteriously crashed after being struck by Russian rocket.
Russian rocket missing after being struck by Wagner airplane.
Civilian aircraft damaged and AA missile midair. The missile is missing and currently considered stolen. Aircraft crew or next of kin will be held liable for the property damage caused and improper aircraft parking.
But did they sign a contract? The thing I always note is how they are obsessed with signing contracts.
Unconfirmed video, but they shot his plane down.
Interesting note at the beginning of that video is the wafting white contrail smoke ending in a grey puff of detonation, impact area. Makes me think it was an air-to-air short-range heat-seeking missile. More telling is what appears to be a forward-projecting blast radius. Russian arm are famous for that type of blast pattern.
How does one gain this knowledge? First-hand express.
I mean, you're asking for it at that point. You turned your troops on Putin, crossed the Rubicon and marched on Moscow, and you made Putin flee like a bitch. And he looked like a bitch to everyone in the world, his allies and enemies. You can't live after that. So flying near Moscow in a small plane is beyond stupid. You might as well jump out the plane's window yourself and save the FSB the trouble.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.